Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today we will be talking about our phylum Hemichordata. My name is Ana Rivera and my partner is Leslie Cortez. Today we will focus on the outline of deuterostomes and their taxonomy, as well as their phylum, their hemichordates, and their characteristics, and how it falls under the class of Interperneusta and Pterobranchias. And as there, we will follow along with the anatomy, habitats, and their roles in life.
The hemichordates are a small group of marine worms with two major phyla, the Echinodermata and the Chordata. They were formerly considered a subphylum of the chordates due to their possession of gill slits and an undeveloped notochord, though it turns out that the hemichordate notochord, quote-unquote, is just an extension of their mouth cavity and don't correspond to the chordate notochord, which is why it changed, and the hemichordates are now considered their own phylum.
For the phylum Hemichordates, hemi means half, chords means string. So these bottom dwellers are bilaterally symmetrical. They are also triploblastic and have a coelom. These worms are free living, meaning that they don't depend on hosts to feed on. In a way, these bottom dwellers are more related to us because they manage to have a complete digestive system and a circular respiratory system.
As we continue, there are some key points to know about our phylum. These creatures have three body regions, which are the proboscis, the collar, and the trunk. The proboscis, which is also pronounced prosome, refers to the mouth-bearing middle region. The collar, which is mesosome, contains coelomic chambers, while the trunk makes up the bulk of the body. Additionally, they have sensory neurons in the proboscis that function in chemoreception. They also possess a single glomerulus connected to the blood vessels, which may serve as excretory functions and is considered a metanephridium. Another interesting feature is the presence of a subepidermal nerve plexus that thickens to form dorsal and ventral nerve cords with a connective ring in the collar. Some of these species have hollowed-on nerve cords. These creatures have respiratory gill slits connecting to the external environment and a circulatory system consisting of dorsal and ventral vessels and a dorsal chord. Hemichordates have separate sexes and are distinguishable by their gonads. They also reproduce sexually and asexually. The fertilization is always external. The classification of the Hemichordata are these two classes, the Enteropneusta and the Pterobranchium. Enteron meaning intestine or the gut, nous meaning breathing. And these are commonly referred as the acorn worms, and there are 90 species of acorn worms. The acorn worms are deposit feeders, meaning that they eat sand or mud. Enteropneustas are solitary animals that live in burrows that are commonly found in shallow water or the deep sea. The Pterobranchia, pteron meaning feather wing, bronchia meaning gills, and there are 30 species of Pterobranchia. Pterobranchs live on corals near tropical areas, and they feed by filtering out plankton out of the water with the help of cilia attached to the tentacles. The class Enteropneusta have gill slits that allow them to breathe oxygen just like us. I also found interesting that they also have a rudimentary nerve cord similar to ours. The Enteropneusta's digestive system is a long specialized tube that extends from the mouth to the anus. The muscle tissue in the gut is limited, so food is moved primarily by the cilia. The mouth opens into a buccal cavity within the collar, which can be sealed by retracting the proboscis against it. From the roof of the cavity, a structure called the buccal diverticulum, or also known as the stomochord, extends into the proboscis stalk. The pharynx is located just after the buccal cavity in front of the section of the trunk. The pharynx also has 2 rows of gill slits on the sides, which are separated by a low ridge in the middle. The enterobnusts have an open circulatory system of blood vessels and sinuses. The blood is pumped by the contractile cells in the walls of blood spaces by the muscular action of the perhemocoelomes in the collar and a contractile heart vesicle located in the proboscis.
Here are some examples of the acorn worms filtering out poop sand. But unfortunately, I can't play the video. So, um, as you can see on the picture on the left, this is dispensed poop sand. But they are not your ordinary dirty type of poop. It is filtered. So if you do see a pile of turd on the beaches, don't don't be afraid of stepping on it because it's actually filtered and it's very clean. But if you dare yourself to grab it, go ahead. And then now on to our next class, pterobranchias. Pterobranchias are also known as sea angels. They are tube-dwelling hemichordates. These tube dwellers are small animals found in Japan and the Atlantic coast of Europe, commonly near shore and tropical areas where their usual habitat is coral rubble. An individual is referred to as a zooid, with colonies typically not exceeding 20 millimeters in diameter, and each zooid being only a few millimeters long. A single larva within the colony produces all the zooids, making all the descendants of the colony originate from the same source. As for the body length, the interior region of the pterobranch body unequivocally showcases a U-shaped gut with ciliated tentacles surrounding the mouth, but notably not the anus, and containing extensions of the mesocele. The body parts of the tube dwellers are defined as followed. Proboscis, also referred to as the cephalic shield or the oral shield. The collar is composed of the outgrowth arms that are pinnately branched into a double row of tentacles. And as for the trunk, it tapers to form a stalk. The cephalic shield gland secretes fluids, and it also acts as an attachment organ and can function as a muscular proboscis to move within the tube or on solid surfaces next to the tube. When slightly disturbed, the creature retreats into its tube by rapidly contracting as its highly extensible musculature. Here are some examples of the sea angels. If you look onto the left, it will show a colony structure called the cenosum of the Cephalodiscus densus. On the right are the individual pterobranch zooids, which are vital parts of the colony structures known as the cenosum. Each zooid has a crown of feeding tentacles, a cephalic disc for attachment, a trunk, and a stolon connecting to budding zooids. This is a beautiful example of nature's interconnectedness and resilience. Keep in mind that the relative sizes between species are not to scale, highlighting the unique diversity of life. If you made it far to this presentation, let me thank you for lasting this long with us. Now, here are some questions for you to think of in case it gets put onto the midterm. Question 1. What defining characteristic separates the hemichordates from the phylum Chordata? Answer is that they lack a notochord. Question 2. What characteristics differ from the class Interpenista and the class Pterobranchias? A would be their habitat, B would be their body shape, and C would be the ways of how they capture food and dispense their food.
Lastly, here are our references. Since we weren't able to play the videos, the links are attached below. In this video, you will see the poop sand and how they're being dispensed. And if you made it, at the end of this video, thank you for watching.